Welcome back to another episode of Truth and Sisterhood. My name is Tiffany.
And I'm Sarah.
And today's episode is titled Grief. How to grieve those we've lost. And most of us have experienced losing a loved one and the grief that comes with that. Have you ever loved someone so deeply that when they left this earth, a part of you felt like it left too?
And I have a quote that I saw somewhere and I wrote down to start out. So it says, grief is like glitter. In the beginning, it's everywhere, on your hands and your hair, scattered across every corner of your life. You try to clean it up to restore some sense of order, and for a while it seems like you've succeeded. But then one day, you move a sofa or open a forgotten drawer, and there it is again, a tiny sparkle that catches the light and reminds you of what you lost. And what is grief? Grief doesn't mean that you have a lack of faith or a weakness. Even Jesus grieved.
Yep, because when Lazarus, the brother of Martha and Mary, got really sick, he ended up dying. And by the time Jesus got there, he was already in the tomb for 4 days. Martha was in pain. And remember, Martha is Lazarus' sister, which is, I guess, Jesus' aunt. Right, technically. Anyway, Martha was in pain and disappointed, whereas... Hold on, let me go back. Martha was in pain and disappointed. She said to Jesus, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. So she said that while she was in pain and just disappointed in Jesus. Whereas Mary, she was weeping and she was broken. So the reason I bring those up is because grief looks different for different people. Now, in the midst of all this, in John 11:35, it says Jesus wept. So even though Jesus was about to raise Lazarus from the, what am I calling that? Lazarus from the dead, he still wept. He didn't rush past their grief though, just because he had a miracle in mind. So he still felt that sadness and still felt what they were feeling. He felt the disappointment. He felt the pain and he felt how they were broken. Even though he knew, like, y'all... watch this, like he already knew what he was about to do, but
that's good. I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah,
because I always wondered, like, why was Jesus weak? Why was he sad if he knew he was about to bring him back from the dead?
Because he felt what he was actually feeling what they were feeling. So.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, I never thought of it like that. Because I was reading that verse, John 11:35, where Jesus wept, and I was like, what is he weeping for? And I was reading, like, and that's all it says is Jesus wept.
Like, you would think, like, I mean, we can't really look at it from Jesus' perspective because we'll never be a perfect person. But at the same time, if you think about it from his perspective, I guess he was really trying to feel what they were feeling, what humans felt, I guess.
Yeah. Even though he was about to bring them back. He wept with them.
And even though technically he was God in human form, but anyways.
Also, I don't know if that Mary is his Mary. I think there might be two different Marys.
But I thought...
Is it?
No, that was his Mary.
Okay.
Because Martha and Mary...
That's right. Okay, I got you.
Were sisters
Never
of Lazarus.
I got you. Yeah. Okay. So that's probably why he was weeping too then. Because that was probably his people, like, for real.
That was his uncle.
Yeah.
That was Unc. I'm sorry. This is an episode on grief, losing a loved one, and I'm over here making jokes. I apologize. I gotta keep it lighthearted, okay?
That's okay. We can do that because, we're about to get into the stages of grief, and one of them is denial. And sometimes when you're in denial, you can laugh it off. So, actually, the first stage is denial. But backing up just a little bit, as I'm going over these stages of grief, they are not... they don't go in order. So these stages aren't steps that you complete, but they're experience that you go through. So it's not like you go through denial, then you go through sadness, then you go through anger, then you can feel these stages at different times in your grieving. So the first one that I have is shock or denial. So I have that it feels like numbness, The feeling like this can't be real, this feels like a dream, and then your emotional disconnection, like you're just not there. You could laugh it off. You could laugh when other people are thinking you're supposed to be crying, or people are like, what in the world is wrong with her? That's just the way that you're going through it, and it's your mind's way of protecting you from being overwhelmed all at once. So I have one scripture for that, and it's just Psalm 6:6, and it simply says, "I'm worn out from my groaning." So David was just complaining, and I'm just worn out from all of my complaining and groaning. So it's okay if you don't feel anything yet. God is still with you, even in your numbness.
I can say, like, I remember when my grandpa passed away, because I knew he was in the hospital. I knew he was sick. And I remember my uncle saying, because I asked him, I'm like, well, can I come with y'all? Because my mom, she was like, I'm probably going to go. Backstory, we live in Virginia. My family on my mom's side and my dad's side live in New Jersey. So my grandpa was in the hospital in New Jersey, and they were visiting us in Virginia. And my mom was basically saying, like, I'm going to have to go visit my dad in the next couple of days. And I'm like, well, can I come? Like, I want to go see him. And I was pregnant at the same time, too. And she's like, you should probably stay back. Like, I don't think that's a good idea. And then my uncle chimed in and was like, he's fine. Like, he's going to be okay. Like, you don't need to go see him. And then maybe like a week later, he passed away. And I came home after my work shift, and my mom was sitting on the couch just crying, and she was like shaking her head, just staring at me. And I'm like, no. Like, I was in denial. I was like, no. And I just kept saying no. And then I was like, why? And I was just like confused, and I wasn't all there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was definitely one of my first stages of grief, when my grandfather died, because I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
So with my grandmothers, I saw it coming because I was able to be there when they took their last breath. They both died of cancer, so I knew it was coming. With my grandpa, I got a phone call.
Yeah.
And I was pregnant with Olivia, and I was alone at home. My husband was working. And anybody who knows me knows that my grandpa was my everything.
I remember that too. Yeah.
And I didn't see it coming. He had a heart attack. After everything that he went through, he had a heart attack.
That's how I feel about my dad. Like, he went through all that. But
he was thugging it out.
Yeah.
All this time for you to go out,
That's what happened to my grandma, actually, when I was in middle school. So that was another one that shocked me. She had a heart attack, didn't want to go to the hospital, had another heart attack, was forced to go to the hospital, and then I think she had another heart attack. She had like so many heart attacks, but she ended up passing away in the hospital. That was hard because I was young. I was real young. Yeah. But yeah.
It was hard for my grandpa because, like I said, he was
my person. Man.
He was my person.
I remember.
Still to this day, I find myself like, am I dreaming? Is he really not here anymore? Like, you really didn't get to meet my babies? Are you kidding me? Like, that's stupid.
I be feeling like that with my grandpa too. I don't know if you remember my grandpa. He was at the baby shower for thing one.
Vaguely.
And he always sang opera. Like, that was his thing. Like, he was always singing opera. And he was like dancing with me. Anyway, I felt close to my grandpa too, but I don't know if I was as close as you were with your grandpa. I don't remember how close y'all were.
Yeah, it was rough. And I don't want to put any shade on my dad or anything, but I felt like I lost my dad that day.
For real?
Yeah. I can't imagine what it's gonna feel like when I actually lose my dad, because I felt like I lost my dad. He played a big part of my life ever since I was a little girl. Yeah. Anyways. So yeah, shock and denial can be one of them. I was in shock, definitely. And I've never lost a child before. God God, I can't imagine. But I know a few people who have,
Yeah.
and they still are like, they're in that denial, like, like God didn't take my baby. Are you kidding me? Like, for real, my baby's gone.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That sucks.
So it's okay if you don't. I know I already said this, but it's okay if you don't feel anything yet. God is still with you, even in the numbness.
Yeah.
Number 2 could be anger. And like I said, these don't go in order. This is just the second example I have. Anger, so that is your frustration, your irritability with yourself or with other people. Anger at people, at yourself, or even God. Like, why would God allow this? Anger doesn't scare God. He can handle your honesty. He wants you to bring it to him, not take it away from him. Psalms 13:1 says, "How long, Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts and day after day have sorrow in my heart? How long will my enemy triumph over me?" And again, that's David in Psalms.
I want to say something too. Like, when my dad passed away, I wasn't necessarily like angry, but like before he passed away, when he started getting really sick, I was getting angry.
Yeah, you were already grieving because you knew it was to come.
Yeah, so I was in that angry stage before he even passed away.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah,
I was like that with my grandmother because I was her caretaker through that, and like watching her decline, knowing like the worst for me is to come. Now, as a believer, I know she's good.
Yeah.
But then I was like, God, why her?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like, she has lived for you. She's done your work. Why does she have to go out like this?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people ask that same thing. A lot of people get angry with God. A lot of people have turned away from God because they have gone through something like that with someone that they love. But
unfortunately too, like, if you think about it, weren't we meant to like live forever at one point?
Yes, I have that in here somewhere. That is going to be brought up again. It's somewhere in these notes. I promise. I wrote it down. But yeah. So that's all I really have for anger. I haven't really felt angry in my stages of grief with losing different people.
I know people who have, like they've lost somebody and they felt really angry about it. Like, they just didn't understand why.
Yeah.
Or like what we were just talking about.
I've seen anger build up, like, in families after that person has passed. Like, have you heard that phrase, like the glue to our family passed away, so now our family is like falling apart.
Yeah, because my
like
husband has said that about his grandma.
Yeah, like, she was the glue to our family, and like everybody's losing their minds now because she's not here.
My husband's grandmother, if I'm not mistaken, passed away on her way to church, or right before she was about to leave to go to church. So
yeah,
there's been a few things that's happened, like, in my husband's life where it's around church or like people that go to church, that certain traumas, and yet he still tries with God, which is really good. But not everybody does that.
Yeah, a lot of people just turn away.
Yeah.
You know what? Never mind.
Yeah.
We're not doing this. This is what you keep bringing me, God. I'm not giving you more from me. But yeah, I never really thought about it like that until I just said that. Like the family falls apart when you lose your glue to the family, but really it's just people, it's everybody grieving different ways.
Yeah.
And nobody grieves the same way.
Yeah.
Like, you grieve differently than me. Yeah. I grieve differently than, my husband.
Right, exactly.
I grieve differently, when I lost my grandpa than my husband did when he lost his grandma. It's different.
I grieve differently when I lost my grandpa versus my grandma.
Me too.
Like, because I had different relationships with them, first of all. Secondly, where I was at in life, you know? So that also played a factor.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So another example I have is bargaining. Another stage could be bargaining. What it feels like is that if only I had more time, if only I had done this. Regrets, replaying moments, trying to make sense of what happened. So you may wrestle with guilt or wish you could change the outcome. You are not meant to carry your what ifs. God invites you to lay that down. Matthew 11:28 says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest."
I will say, because one thing you said that stuck out to me was if only I had more time. And mine's a little bit opposite than that. I grieve because obviously I'm sad that my dad passed away. But one thing that I always take away from it is that I prayed. And this, shout out to Tia, my friend Tia, if she ever listens to this, but I came to her for advice because she lost her dad. And she said, the best thing you can do is just go see him as much as you can, as much as possible. So I was able to get a leave of absence, and I was able to go see my dad. And when he was on hospice, he was only on hospice for 2 days. But the doctors told my mom, like, oh, he's probably going to pass away today. So I had to rush down there. And I just begged God for more time. Like, can you just give me more than a day? And he did. So I look at that as like, okay, God answered my prayer because I was able to see my dad another day, which was amazing because I saw him when he was on hospice. It was really hard because he couldn't, when he would look at you, his eyes would go up, so he couldn't really look at you, and he couldn't respond to what you were saying.
Yeah.
So when I was leaving that night to go back to North Carolina with the kids, I told my dad, I held his hand and I was like, if you have to go, I understand. I don't want you to keep fighting. And I was like, I've got Mom. I've got her. Me and Sean, my brother, I was like, we're going to make sure she's okay. And then I was like, I've got to leave. I got to go now. I got to take. And then I named all the kids. I just named them because I wanted him to hear their name before he passed away. So I named all of the kids. I was like, I'm taking I got a whole list of kids. So I named all of them, and he was able to smile at me. It was hard for him to do, but he was able to smile. And that's the last thing that I got to see before my dad passed away. I went back to North Carolina that night and then got the phone call maybe 2 hours later from my mom that he passed away. So I made a U-turn right back to Virginia, and I never looked back at North Carolina. And anyway, so I say that because you mentioned, if only I had more time, and I was just thankful and grateful that God gave me more time with my dad. But it still sucks because it's you wake up and you're like, oh, he's going to come through the door. He's going to walk through the door. Yeah. You have to remind yourself, he ain't coming back. So, yeah, you have to live. He has to live on through memories. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. That was a fresh pop.
Dang tissues.
Mine is a little different. I have a lot of regret when it comes, especially to my grandfather.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it came out of nowhere. I thought I had more time.
Yeah.
He would call me and, when are you going to come see me? Can you come and see me? Can you bring me this? Can you bring me that? Because he was right up the road at the Veterans Hospital, at the home they have.
My dad used to go there all the time.
And I'd be like, I'm tired today. I was pregnant. I was like, I'm so tired. I don't feel like it. I'll come see you tomorrow. At the time, I was fighting with my aunt. Me and my aunt weren't talking. It was around Father's Day, and I remember him saying, you gonna come see me for Father's Day? And I'm like, not if she's gonna be there. Yeah. I'll come a different day. And I didn't go on Father's Day, and he died a few days after. So I live with that regret, because I should have went and seen him. He was waiting on me to go and see him. And I still have his last voicemail that he ever sent me. And he was waiting on my daughter to be born. He died in June and she was to be born in August. So, and
That's hard.
if, there were lots of times where I'd be like, I don't feel like going today.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just go tomorrow. He'll be there tomorrow. It'll be fine. So I think that's another reason when I got that phone call from my aunt, how ironic, I was just like, no, there's no way. Like, you're lying right now.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. And she's like, no, he's gone. And I still think, I should have just brought him that Wendy's chili. I should have took him that Captain D's. I should have went up there and sat and watched the race with him, or watched those stupid football games that he wanted to watch, and hear him cuss out the nurses, like, why didn't I just do that?
I understand that.
So, and I have to give that to God. Because for a long time I didn't. Yeah. I held on to it, and I blame myself.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing that I could have done by going to see him more.
But it does bring in that anger, probably, that we were talking about.
And it does make me, like, irritable with the people around me, which I don't really see it, but sometimes I walk around with, like, an attitude. Yeah. And, like, my husband will be like, what's your problem today? And I'm like, well, nothing. I'm fine. Like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. And then looking back, like, those are days, like, I was going through it. So, bargaining is one. The next one is deep sadness or depression. Yeah. So, what that feels like is heavy sorrow, your loss of motivation, you're feeling empty or hopeless. Sadness is not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you loved deeply.
Yes. Yeah, I heard that before.
So yeah, I heard that. I don't know where I heard it, but I heard it, so I wrote it down. Mm-hmm. Psalms 42:11 says, "Why, my soul, are you downcast? Why so disturbed within me? Put your hope in God, for I will yet praise him, my Savior and my God." And Lamentations 3:17-18 says, "I have been deprived of peace. I have forgotten what prosperity is. So I say, my splendor is gone, and all that I had hoped from the Lord."
I have a couple of scriptures just by himself. Oh, you have another, another one. I'm just gonna...
After sadness. I don't know if I've ever been in a deep depression before. I've been depressed before, but I don't know if it's because of my grief.
Yeah. I will say, I don't think that I was in like a real deep depression with my dad, which is kind of crazy to say out loud, but it would come in waves. Like, it would be just days where I'm just like trying to get through. I guess because I kept myself so busy. I have 500 kids, so that helps. But because I would make myself so busy, I really wouldn't think about it. Mm-hmm. But there would be days when I would find myself, I'll be by myself. Yeah. And I would just start crying my eyes out by myself, just telling God, because at that point, I found God. So at that point, I was telling God everything. I still do, obviously. But my point is, like, I would just break down and just cry to God and just be like, I want my dad back. Like, I used to say that to him a lot in the beginning, like when it was fresh. I'll be like, I just want my dad. I want my dad. I want my daddy. I want my dad back. And like, I think that's part of the reason, and I've said this before, but I think that's also part of the reason that I did get so close to God, is because I lost my dad, my physical dad. So I felt like God kind of stepped in and became that dad. Like, he's always been there. Yeah. But that's when I really...
But you didn't really lean on him until you didn't have your dad anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but I don't know about, like, being deeply depressed.
And I don't have this written down, but God will also be whatever you need him to be. Mm-hmm. In whatever season you're in, whatever part of your life you're in. If you need a father, he'll be your father. If you need a friend, he'll be your friend. If you need a brother, he'll be your brother. If you need a judge, he'll be your judge.
Yes.
If you need a husband, he'll be your husband. You know what I mean? Like, he's there for whatever part of that you need.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he knows when you need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever, because when I think about like depression, I think like I'm in my room, I'm locked in my room for days, I'm not eating, and that's not what depression looks like.
Sometimes it looks like they're okay and they're really not.
Yeah.
Like my mom, that's her husband. So like I can't imagine from a wife's, like being a wife from that perspective, losing your husband.
Yeah. At
that point, I think I would be really depressed.
Yeah.
And you know, it's funny. She said 2 days ago, she said, I had a dream about your dad last night and we were arguing. I was like, that's just like how y'all were. Like, you know, we're always bickering about stuff. She said, yeah, we were arguing. We went to this hotel and we were arguing about the hotel. And I kept telling him, I want to go home.
Oh, my
He was like, it was so stupid, but that's the first time I dreamt of him in forever. And what really sucked is going back to when he first passed away. He passed away October 2023. In May of 2024 would have been, I think, their 40th anniversary or 45th.
Oh my goodness.
Or 35th. It was one of those anniversaries. So that was the first anniversary without him. So I made her a pillow out of his shirt. And she just broke down. I have a picture of her squeezing it, and she was
I remember seeing
crying.
That.
Like, I got her a mug with them on it. It was just like, she was like, why are you doing this to me? But, you know, I guess for different people, like we said, it's different for different people, but also like, what is your relationship to that person?
And I was going to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Because I feel like, oh, maybe I wasn't in a deep sadness or depression because he was my grandpa. What if I had lost one of my kids? Or what if I had lost my husband?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that might be a little different.
It's a little different.
I might not be going through the bargaining. I might be going just through deep sadness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not going to feel all these at once or in order or...
Yeah, it's going to be all over the place.
Yeah. And there might be some that you never feel.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a little bit easier, and please don't like get mad when I say this, but I feel like it's a little easier when the person's older because, like, you know, like, okay, they're older, like things are more possible health-wise.
Yeah.
But also how they pass away. Like, some people pass away due to health reasons. Other people could get, like, you know, in a car accident.
Yeah, a car accident, or, you know,
somebody did something to them.
Somebody could, like, hurt them.
So, it's not black and white.
At all. There's so much to it. And our pain is not your pain. And
and everybody's different.
We're not downplaying anyone's pain. Mm-hmm. We're just really just touching on
Or my shirt says you matter. This is a semicolon because it means your story hasn't ended. So this is for people who are suicidal.
That's right.
There's people that commit suicide. I know a couple of people that knew people, whether it was close family or friends, who committed suicide.
Yeah. I know people too who have lost people to suicide, and what do you even say to console those people?
Right.
Know? And that's one of the hardest things is you never know what to say to someone who's grieving, who's lost someone, because there's nothing that you can say that's gonna bring that person back.
One of my go-tos is like, I really don't know what to say. I'll be honest with you, but just know I'm here, and whatever you need from me, let me know.
I will say that I was talking to my coworker the other day about that. She has lost her dad, and I was like, you know what do you ask from like your partner when you're have those days where you're like going through it because her partner has not, you know, lost.
Yeah, he hasn't gone.
His parents. And she was like, really? I just wanted to console me. I just wanted to just be there and listen. And she was like, that's all I could ask. And just let me talk, let me vent, and just let me play those memories out. Let me talk about that person. Yeah. And you don't have to say anything. I just need you to be there. And so,
and I want to touch on that if I can.
Mm-hmm.
This is another reason I'm going to be very vulnerable. I'm not going to give too many details, but just know, like, speaking about what other people need from us during their times of grief. There was someone very, very close to me. I'm not going to say who because I don't want to expose them. They lost a relative who I was very close with, and unfortunately, like, they needed me during that time, and I was there at first, and then we got into a freaking fight, a stupid, dumb fight, and it wasn't even because of them. It was because of me, and it was because of my insecurities, and I just lost my dad like a month ago, so I just wasn't all there, not trying to make excuses, but like, this is just what it was. I haven't been emotionally intelligent in the past, and I've told you guys that in the past with how I was raised. So when I get emotional, that's all I am, is emotional. Logic isn't there. And this was a time that I needed to be strong. This was a time that I needed to really use my logic, and I needed to just be empathetic. And I wasn't. I was the complete opposite. I was a horrible person. And I think about it to this day. Every single day I think about it. Every single day it crosses my mind. And that's why this episode is also a little hard for me, is because when somebody that I really loved to death needed me the most, I wasn't there for them. I was a horrible person to them. And it's like, how do you... And I thank God for their grace and forgiveness with me in that situation. But I know that it was traumatizing for them. And I know that that's in the back of their mind. Yeah. And like, how do you trust somebody that, like, dude, I needed you when this person passed away. Like, I needed you and you weren't there for me. Like, I abandoned them. So it's hard for me, but I try to give that to God every day. Just asking for forgiveness from God, but also asking them to heal the person that I hurt. Don't be that person ever, guys. No matter what you're going through, if that person just lost someone, be there for them.
Yeah.
And I regret it every day. But I just wanted to touch on that because you were talking about how your coworker, what they need from their spouse. And I'm thinking to myself what I need from my spouse. Except I don't go to my spouse when I'm upset anymore about my dad. Like, I don't go to anyone. I go to God, and that's it. Because I don't know... People don't know what to say.
Yeah.
So I don't even go to my mom because I don't want things to get awkward. So, like, I just cry to God about it.
Me too. I don't really go even to my husband. Like, he'll know, like, the day my grandpa passed away, the day he knows those days are like heavy days for me.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll be like, "You all right?" You know, or if I'm listening to like certain songs, he'll be like, "Oh, okay, I know what she's doing."
Yeah.
So
during those times, we just need a hug sometimes. We just need to not talk.
And that's what she said too. She was like, "Just console me. Just give me a hug. Just let me know you're there."
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay.
Or like even redirect my thinking. Like, let's go watch a movie. Let's go for a walk. Like, sometimes we be needing that because around that time when my dad passed away, like, it's been how many years now? Going on 3, right? Mm-hmm. 4, 25. Yeah. Going on 3 years in October, which is freaking nuts. But around that time, I'm always very just like, to myself. But I also like share posts and stuff on Facebook, memories and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
It is. The last example I have for the stages are acceptance. So not okay, but surrender. So when you're finally ready to surrender, you begin to move forward. The pain is still there, but it's starting to soften. You start trusting God again in a deeper way. It doesn't mean you're over it. It doesn't mean that you don't miss them. It doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. It just means that you're learning to live with the loss.
Yeah.
And I have Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding.
Mm-hmm.
In your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. So.
Yes, I have a couple of scriptures. I don't think you did these. You did Psalm, but I have Psalm 34, verse 18. I don't think you went over that one. But Psalm has a lot in there.
It does.
This one, so Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Psalm 147 verse 3 says, "He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds." Oh, you wrote it down too. You have Isaiah 41 verse 10. Yes. Yeah. I'll let her go over that one.
No,
later.
I just had those in different parts of my notes. That's all it is.
So the next thing I wanted to go over was how to lean on God in grief. And mine's a little more personal. So just what I do, I cry to him and I tell God why I miss the people that I'm crying about. It's not a time where I have any polished prayers. It's not about having peace right away, but just collapsing at God's feet and staying in God's presence, which is kind of what I was talking about earlier when I said that, like, there will be times where I'll find myself by myself just crying to God about my dad. And I still do that, not as much as I used to, or even to the point where I'm just like sobbing crying. Sometimes it'll just be a tear, but like I always go to God and I just want to be in his presence.
I just have, I kind of have almost the same thing you do, but I have be honest with God. So your real raw prayers, talk to him like you talk to a friend. Don't isolate yourself. So I put that this is where your community matters, your friends, your close family, the people that you have that can carry you when you're weak.
I'll be isolating myself.
So, she's like, isolate yourself, and I say, don't isolate yourself.
Isolate myself.
I feel like when you isolate yourself, that gives the enemy
power to get in
one
your
up
head.
in your life.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I got her while she's here.
Yeah, I typically.
Even though the Bible tells us, like, Jesus went off alone, this is not a time I feel like you should do that because you're really vulnerable. Maybe
in like in a moment or like.
But yeah, not like
a whole day, whole week time.
Yeah. Like, not like, because there's some people like, will stop going to church. And stop, that's what I mean. Like, don't isolate yourself.
I think those are the people that really do get into that depression.
Yeah.
Because of,
definitely. They don't want to lean on their community because they just lost the closest person to them.
Yeah.
What do they want
that
community
probably
for?
Was their community.
Exactly.
That's probably all they needed, and they.
Exactly.
I understand that.
But Galatians 6:2 says that we are to carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ.
Yeah.
So your friends, your close family, your people,
or even like people at church too.
Yeah.
They could pray over you.
That's right. If you trust them to, of course. I have hold on to God's promises. Even when your feelings don't match the truth. Especially when your feelings don't match the truth.
Yeah.
That's when you need to hold on to God's promises. I know a lot of people, they like to isolate themselves from God. They like to just go away from God because they can't believe he let this happen. Like, a lot of people blame God. And I have that in here somewhere, but
it's really not God.
It's not.
It's unfortunately this Satan-ruled world we live in.
That's right. Have it somewhere. I'm gonna get to it in a minute, y'all. I promise. And then I just have practical ways that I process grief. Is y'all know I journal, so I journal my prayers.
That's a good one.
I write them out. I talk to God daily, even when it's messy or I'm mad. I create space to remember who I've lost. So if that's watching home movies, if that's listening to music, if that's telling people stories about them, y'all will know that I love them and they were a part of my life. You don't just never talk about them again.
Yeah.
Just because they're not here anymore.
I like to be like, man, if my dad was here, because one thing he used to say, for example, if I would eat like pizza in the morning, right? If I had pizza at 9 a.m., right? One thing about my dad, backstory real quick, he was always at the kitchen table reading a newspaper, okay? My dad was old. People used to think he was my grandpa, you know. And back in elementary school, I used to let people think that. I'm like, yeah, that's my grandpa, but it was my dad the whole time. But anyway, I digress. He used to be at the kitchen table every morning reading his newspaper, doing his crossword, okay? Ironically, telling me who just died. And he would go to that section and be like, oh, let's see who died today. And I would have, like something random for breakfast, and he'd be like, that's what you're gonna have. Like, if it was pizza, he'd be like, pizza for breakfast? Ugh. Why do you eat that for breakfast? He used to just judge my breakfast choices. Like, don't you want eggs? Like, no, I don't want eggs. I don't want to fart all day like you do. So, anyway, I bring that up to make this a little lighthearted, but also to say, like, it's important to bring up those memories so you can laugh about, like, the things they used to do. It brings me joy every time. Even though it does bring you a little bit of sadness, but, it brings me laughter every time I talk about my dad, because he was a trip.
I laugh, and then I'll cry later, like,
yeah.
I said so much. I was laughing earlier, but he's really gone.
Should've just eaten those eggs.
And then, I had the last thing I have is seek wise counsel. So, from your Christian community, also, I have a therapist. She helps me through my grief. And really, she just lets me vent. She lets me talk.
And she's a Christian based,
She is.
right?
She's my Christian community, No shade to therapy, because we all gotta have somebody. So, God is not distant in your pain. He is with you in it.
That's so true, yes.
So Deuteronomy 31:8 says, the Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you. He will never forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged.
Yes.
And that is all I have for ways to process it.
I do have a little encouragement for others. I wrote something down. So I say, remember, you don't have to rush your healing, which is something we went over earlier. There's no timer on your grief. If your heart is heavy right now, that doesn't mean God has left you. Like she just said, he's with you in your grief. It doesn't mean your faith is weak. It means that you loved deeply and that loss hurts deeply. So that's definitely, as far as faith goes, when I say it doesn't mean your faith is weak, because it can be hard to even have faith after that things are going to get better. That things are going to be okay. But that doesn't mean that your faith is weak, because you're still going to God. So if you're going to God, you have to have a little bit of faith, even if it's of a mustard seed. And that's all he asks us to have. So
that's right.
And Isaiah 41:10, I don't think you went over that one. Did you?
I did not. Hold on to God's promises.
Yeah, so do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand.
That's right.
Okay. Remember that. And then things that we wish we knew about grief. My list is a little small.
It's okay. Mine, it would be small, but I have categories and subcategories in scripture. I'm just extra with it.
I like that about you.
You just have categories, and that's good.
Yes. I just have like a list. This is also very personal too for me. So what I wish I knew about grief. And I kind of knew some of these things, but when you lose a parent versus a grandparent, for me, and this is not for everybody, but for me, it was different. It was a lot different. Because I lost the person that brought me into this world.
Yeah.
So, what I wish I knew about grief, that it is messy. I wish I knew it was this messy. That it's unpredictable. Literally, you could be, and I think Jocelyn said this to me before. And I think she said that they used to always, it was either watermelon or strawberries. Her and her grandpa used to always eat them together. So sometimes when she gets like a whiff of like the fruit, and I forget which one it is, I'm sorry, Jocelyn. She might be listening to this, but it was either watermelon or strawberries. She'll just get a whiff of it and then just break down crying. So you could get a scent, something that you hear on the TV, like, something.
Yeah,
like my dad used to watch Law and Order all the time. If I see Law and Order, I instantly think of him. Okay, so things like that. Grief doesn't mean that you lack faith. I just went over that one, but I wish I knew that before, because that's what it felt like at first. And it is okay to talk to others about it, which we just also mentioned as well. And it's okay to ask for help. And if you don't want to ask people for help, like Sarah said, you could go to therapy. That's a way you can ask for help. Healing and keeping their memory alive can coexist, and then grief can draw you closer to God, believe it or not. That's what happened for me. So I lost my dad and I got closer to God after that, which is insane, right? But that's what happened.
It usually is the opposite.
Yeah, a lot of people, if you think about it too, because it's messy, they'll turn to other things.
Yeah.
So they'll turn to other vices.
That's right.
But yeah.
I had almost the gist of, especially that first one, I put grief comes in waves. Someone said, I wish I knew that some days I'd feel okay and the next it would hit me all over again. So one day you're fine, and then you get that smell, you get that song, you get that picture. So I said healing isn't linear, it comes in waves. Psalms 35 says weeping may endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning. Another one I had is that people won't always understand. Some people will say the wrong things, but not because they don't care. It's just because they don't know how.
I think some people too, and this isn't for me personally, they'll just be like, I've heard it before, but this hasn't happened to me personally, but like people will be like, why are you still sad about this? Like,
yes.
And
number 3 is you don't get over it.
Yeah.
Like you lost your dad.
Yeah.
You're not going to ever get over that. He's gone and you're here. So,
and I think about like how I'm gonna be when I lose my mom, because obviously it was really hard losing my dad. I'm a daddy's girl, and it sucked. But my mom, me and her, we butt heads so much throughout life. But like that's my girl.
And you can't imagine
that's my girlie.
Not having her here.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
And then I can't imagine how people live their life without their mom. I mean, I'll go days without talking to my mom. I'll go weeks. I know that's bad. I'm sorry, Mom.
I know my mom,
I can't imagine her not being there if I ever needed her.
My mother-in-law and my mom have both said this. Or it might have been my mother-in-law said this to my husband and he told me, I don't know, but they've both done this. They went to pick up the phone to call their mom and then realized they can't. Because they're so, every day they're picking up the phone, calling their mom.
Yeah.
That was... when I wasn't living with my mom, I was talking to her like 5 times a day. Like, I'd just be on the phone with her just chatting about nothing. And she would just be sitting there listening. But my dad would be in the background.
That's how it was for my aunt and my nanny. They were best friends, and they talked like on the hour, every hour. And I'm just like, that was her best friend.
Yeah.
So, she took it hard, and a lot of us were like, why is she acting like this? Like, she's acting like a crazy person right now. Yeah. But that was her mom. And I look back on it now, and I'm like, you can't, judge how somebody's grieving. That's how they're processing. It's just.
Some people don't know how to
process
let their emotions out either. Yeah. Some people bottle it up.
And then not everyone can carry your grief well. It's important for you to lean on God first. So
and I think a lot of people too, they can make that an idol. Like we said that in our episode about idolizing. You can idolize grief. Like you can make that the center
of everything. That's true.
And then you're pushing away God. And
Another thing I have is that God is still good even when life isn't.
Mm-hmm.
So there are moments when I didn't understand God, but I learned that I could still trust Him.
Yeah.
And faith isn't the absence of pain, it's just trusting God in the pain.
Love that.
So I really had to, I still do all the time.
Yeah.
Like, even, like, I'll be having a bad day, like, this day is a rough day, but God, you're still good. Like, tomorrow will be better. It'll be okay.
And I kind of said that, I did a TikTok video today. I said that towards the end because you know I gotta be throwing in my my messages from God. But God really put that on my heart today. Like, you don't have, just because you're having a bad day or a bad moment doesn't mean that your life is bad. And at the end of the day, you gotta really try your hardest to choose happiness, which is super hard to do, especially when you're grieving.
And then there's a scripture that, I would tell other people or other people would tell me, and it's like, God doesn't take anything away that He won't give you better.
Yeah.
And when I'm thinking, I told somebody that one time, and I told someone who had just lost a baby, and I was like, why did I say that? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you didn't.
She lost her baby, but I didn't mean like
your words were saying one thing, but you were meaning something else.
And like yes, she lost her baby prematurely, but now she has a new baby, and like that doesn't replace the one that she lost.
Yeah,
and it's not saying that baby's better than the one that she lost.
Yeah.
But
God still had a plan for her to experience a baby and experience a child. But unfortunately,
she had to go through that loss first.
But that wasn't God.
And I'll never know why she had to do that happen.
Because Satan rules this world.
That's true.
And there's death, there's murder.
And that brings me into the next one. God is closest in your lowest moments. So people say, I didn't feel God. But looking back, He carried me through every moment.
Yeah.
So,
and it's really hard to like tell people that when they go through so much trauma.
Yeah.
But the fact that some people, they go through so much trauma, yet they come out on the other side and they really do follow God and go to God. Like, that just shows like they had faith all along, really.
Yeah. And I have it written down on here. This is what I was looking for earlier. That God didn't create us for death. And loss was never His original design. Death hurts because we know it's not how things were meant to be.
Correct. That's exactly my thoughts put into a quote.
Yeah, so
that's literally what I be thinking. Like,
He didn't. That's not His plan. That was not His original plan for us. Adam and Eve sinned, and that is what brought all of this onto the world, which that's going to have to be a whole nother episode because we ain't got time to be diving into that. But yes, God's original plan for us was not death, was not loss, was not hurt, sadness, trauma, none of that. So that is all I have other than my prayer.
I have a takeaway.
Okay, girl.
So my takeaway quote, I don't have a question for y'all, but I have a quote. Grief is not a journey you finish quickly. It is a process and a place where God meets you in ways you didn't always expect. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to cry. And it's okay to feel lost, because even in that, God is with you, holding you and guiding you toward healing. So think about that this week. If you feel that grief coming on, God is with you guys.
Okay, and I'm going to do the closing prayer today because it's another journal entry prayer that I was going through back. Like I said, I like to journal my prayers. I like to journal my everyday life. So I was just flipping through one of my journals and I came across one prayer that I had when I was grieving.
I love your journal prayers, to be honest with you.
So that's going to be our closing prayer. So, just pray with us.
Here we go.
God, this grief is hitting me extra hard this year. I don't know why. You see the pain I have. It's the kind of pain that I can't explain. The kind that comes from losing someone who meant everything to me. I thought I'd have more time. How am I supposed to keep going and keep on living without him here? It's not fair. There are moments I still don't understand. Moments where I replay everything in my mind, wishing I had said more, done more, loved harder, shown up better. God, if I bring you my regret, God, I bring you my regret. Every what if only, and every moment I wish I could go back and change. I lay them at your feet right now. Lord, I need you to be here in this pain. Don't leave me in it alone. When the silence feels too loud, when the memories hit out of nowhere, and when I don't know how to take my next step forward, be my strength. Help me release the guilt I've been holding on to. He wouldn't want that, and neither do you. Teach me how to forgive myself for the things I didn't do, didn't see, or didn't know. God, I miss him. I miss his voice, his presence, his smile, his sarcasms. Sometimes the weight of him being gone is so heavy. Carry what I can't, Lord. Hold me together when I'm falling apart in my grief. Help me to trust you and not blame you, God. I know it's not your fault. Help me find you in the middle of my heartbreak and frustrations. I know you will continue to come through for me. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Girl. That was... I needed that one. I didn't know I needed that one, but I needed that. Oh, that was good.
I cried the other day writing it. Now you're making me cry.
Oh, gosh. Grief is not easy, y'all. It was a really hard episode for us. And grief does come in different forms, not just losing someone, but also grieving somebody that may be alive still. So we're going to talk more about grief in part 2. This is part 1. And we thank y'all for sitting with us through this episode. We know it was hard for us, and we know it might be hard for you as well. And just know that we care about you, and so does God. And that's all I really have to say on that. And thank you for joining us for another hard episode of Truth and Sisterhood. And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.